now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times. Good morning, class. Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. If you guys have not done so already, please shoot this stream a like. It definitely helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Share it to your social media platforms, as well as if you happen to be a new subscriber or a new viewer to the channel and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, definitely hit that subscribe button as well as that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. As well as if you want to become a member of the community, a cast and crew member to the community, shoot that join button. It definitely helps out a lot. And pick whatever level tier membership you would like to choose, whatever is best financially for you. Definitely would like to have you as a member here on the channel. Well, guys, this is going to be a really fun stream. If you guys have not seen the thumbnail, Scream Theories, I have a very special guest with me here today. I'm a really big fan of her videos. We started conversating a little bit about 2 months ago. I want to say she gave me a shout out on one of her videos, and then it's kind of, took off from there. And I'm really excited to pick her brain and to go through some of these theories and stuff like that. Now, guys, we talk about it here on the channel all the time. We're not going to basically agree on every theory or anything, but you have to be open to other people's thought process as well, see where they're coming from. And I'm definitely all about that. So, guys, we're not wasting any more time. Let's get her in here. My special guest for here of episode 9 of the I Shot Him 6 Times horror podcast covering Scream Theories. Sister Pam, what's going on, Pam? How are you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, girl. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to, talk to you about some Scream Theories. It's hot right now. Like, it's crazy. I know we haven't got Scream 7 greenlit yet, but
yes,
I'm confident. I'm letting this thing simmer. Let it simmer a little bit. I'm excited because, as I told you backstage, I am going to Texas Frightmare. I catch my flight at 5:55. I land as a straight shot, no layover. I should get there by 7:40 Central Time. It's going to be a great weekend. I get to meet my buddy Destination Station. I don't know if you are subscribed to his channel, Pam.
I don't think so.
Oh, definitely go check Destin out. He has a lot of great Scream theories and other content as well. He does like Marvel, MCU, and all that stuff. Really good guy, and it's going to be fun. Like, this is the second convention that I've gone to now where I've actually gotten to meet up with some content creators.
Nice.
And stuff. So yeah, it's fun. It's a great time. Have you ever been to a convention, Pam?
No, I'm dying to though.
Oh, girl, you gotta go.
I will. Don't worry.
You gotta go. Like, okay, so if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? Like, what state do you live in?
New York.
New York. Oh, that's perfect. Jersey, Monster Mania. You got to make it happen. I'm planning. That's my next scheduled con to go to. I went to that one last year, and I want to go to this one again. I will tell you, it is a little bit smaller than like Texas Frightmare and Horror Hound, but it's worth it. One thing I will say about Monster Mania, what I've seen anyway from the roster booking, they're always bound to have some Scream guests there. So that's where I met Matthew and Jamie at Horror Hound, and then they were also at Monster Mania as well and stuff. I was supposed to meet Nev, and she ended up having to leave early.
Oh no!
Broke my heart. I was standing there waiting in line, and my friend was in Matthew's line or whatever and stuff. So I'm standing there waiting for Nev, and they're like, "Hey, everyone, anybody's here to see Nev Campbell? Unfortunately, she had to cancel, her for today. She had to catch a flight back home or whatever, this and that." And I'm just like, I just slowly inside, my heart started to split in two. I'm just like, damn, but it's okay. We're going to get her eventually. But I did get Matthew, and he's awesome.
Nice.
Yes. And Jamie is too. Jamie's real cool. Them two together, especially when you go to their booth. It's like a comedy show. It's amazing. It really is. All right. So let me get to some of you guys' comments in here. I know you guys have been waiting very patiently, and then we are going to get into this comedy because we got a lot to talk about, Pam. A lot.
Yes, for sure.
All right. What's going on, Scott Walker? How you doing this morning? Hi, Marcus. I told you I'll be back. Hey, you know what happens, man? You know what happens when you say you'll be right back. You got to be careful with that. You push the walls and you end up dead, man. I'll see you in the kitchen with a knife. Matt Lucas, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, my friend? I hope you're having a great morning. Saying, hey, Marcus, loved your recent video on Charlie, Kirby, and Stu. Your attention to detail is astounding. Yeah, thank you for that, man. Like, I'm telling you, I'm like, the more and more I get into this rabbit hole of content creating, the more and more clues I find that you can make a case for. Like, I'm thinking of it from the perspective, like, I know Wes Craven didn't attend this, but what if Radio Silence is intending this?
Right.
You know, so it's just really, really exciting. Like I said, backstage to you, Pam, what they're doing, because they're allowing us to go back into these other sequels and question things we would have never questioned before. And I like that. You know, I like that. That's what makes Scream such a fun franchise.
Yes. And they're such big fans, so they're definitely drawing from the original movies for sure.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's what a lot of people do miss on and stuff when we talk about these crazy, outrageous theories. You know, Stu Macher being alive, Charlie Walker being alive, Kirby being a killer. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, no, you know, Wes Craven never intended this. Yeah, we understand that.
Right.
But there's a new creators now, and they are big fans of this franchise. So I'm thinking of it from, if I was them, you know what I mean? Okay, well, wait a minute. This doesn't add up right with this character. Ooh, I might want to do something with this character, maybe flip him from a victim to a ghost face. Something like that. Like, you know, I like that they're doing that. I mean, could the writing be a little bit better? Sure, but I feel like that's every movie.
Right. Every movie has its issues, for sure.
Right. Hey, what's going on, Eric? I hope you're having a great morning, my friend. The Bearded Entertainment coming in, and as well as one of my Woodsboro level members. Ready for some theory action this morning. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time, man. I'm ready to dig into it too. Scott Walker saying, hi, Sister Pam. How's it going?
Hey, Scott. Thanks for joining.
Okay, real quick, get to the rest of you guys' chat. Hey, what's going on, Gina? My Chucky Jordy coming in saying, hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great morning, Gina. Oh, hold up. I seen something, Eric, saying about you. I guess you're going to be at one of these conventions. Oh, which one, Eric? Let me know which one is that. Is it the one that's going to be in Jersey? Because I know Jersey's coming up, I think, in July or August. I know it was August last year. I don't know if he's talking about you, Pam. He said, I want that video you did when you dress up as all the Scream characters.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I dressed up as quite a few characters.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it just caught me off guard real quick because I'm just like, did I do a video?
You put out so much content, you forgot what you did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just like, man, you know what I mean? And that's why sometimes, I'm not going to lie, especially with this theory that I talked to you about the whole Bride of Chucky thing or whatever. And with the theory about Kirby basically lying to Sydney in that scene about the Wi-Fi and all that stuff. I had to make sure that in my previous theory video that I talked about that I didn't bring that up because I'm like, wait a minute.
That was a new catch, I think.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, that absolutely makes no sense to me. And we're definitely going to get into that because there's no way, especially with cell phones. That's the biggest thing to me. Oh, you know, I tried to call 911. Chick, you got 911 feature on your cell phone. Stop. You know what I mean? You ain't try to call nobody. You know what I mean?
It's
it ain't happening.
Suspicious at times, for sure.
Very, especially in Scream 6.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Scott saying, what does Matthew Lillard say to you about Scream 7? Is he in the movie or is he keep quiet? He should. He would definitely keep quiet.
100%.
Yeah, I can't imagine him spoiling the beans. It's supposed to be a surprise, you know. I say the same thing about, you know, Rory Culkin. You know, if he is going to return as Charlie Walker, I'm happy that wasn't him walking past the Carpenter sisters, because I don't want the surprise to be spoiled. There are plenty of other Easter eggs that point to Charlie Walker. Check that video out if you haven't already.
They're definitely going to stay tight-lipped. They would never admit he'll be in it.
That's so true, Pam. So true. And why should they? That's just ruining the entire fun of what that film could be like. Like, you have a golden opportunity to make something epic happen. Why would we give that away?
Right.
You know, that's just almost as bad. That's even worse than the leak of the ending of Scream 6 that got out there.
Yeah.
You know, if they just told us what they're going to do, I mean, it's going to bum us out, because it's like, all right, well, we already know what's going to happen. We just got to see how you're going to do it.
Right. Did you get spoiled for you? Did you get spoiled for Scream 6?
No, what was that?
Did you get spoiled for Scream 6? Did you see?
They tried. People tried to spoil me.
I was
swatted
spoiled.
that shit out of here. They tried.
I was spoiled, unfortunately.
See, I hate when people do that.
Me too, because I'm on TikTok, so everyone in my comments was spoiling it. And I was so quick to honestly delete these comments and like block some of these people, because I didn't want it to spoil for other fans.
Right.
I had to pay the price.
Absolutely. See, and what I've come to learn, and what's best for us content creators to do, especially when Scream 7 rolls around, turn off the comments.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be more careful next time, because I definitely, if Stu's coming back, I don't want to be spoiled.
I don't want to be spoiled, right? I don't want to know anything. Like, I want this to be, when we're in the theater watching this play out, when it happens, I just want to be like, but I also want to kind of be like, because there's so many of them, this is going to be a cult, and I definitely do. It's going to be a cult of ghost faces. And I think we are going to be shocked about who is in the cult. You know, I'm going to, discuss some of my thoughts on who's in it, and I'm sure you are as well. I know you're heavy on Christina, and I like it. I like it. It's just, I just feel like if they do that, I'll ask you this: if they do that, is Tara a killer?
Possibly. I do have a Tara theory on my channel. She's definitely looking a bit sus.
Ooh. Okay, we're going to start off with that then. Yeah.
I mean, I think that they wanted us to think it's going to be Sam, but I know that you want Sam to be a killer, and I'm not against that, but I think it's a bit obvious, and they're going to throw us off and have it be Tara maybe. Because I have said before that they emphasize she's not dealing with her trauma. So maybe she'll snap.
That's a very good point. And hey, I'll be the first to admit, now, my good friend Bob from Hunting for Entertainment, as well as the Spicy General, one of my modulators and a really great supporter of everybody here in the community, Val, in Scream 5, they felt Tara was a little sus then. And I personally didn't catch it, because I'm just like, okay, even if she is a killer, let's just go from Scream 5's basis. Why put yourself through all that punishment when you could have just easily just got stabbed a couple times just to get Samantha to come back?
Right.
That was my only issue with that. However, when she did the Ethan, and then that little it's like, whoa, wait a minute, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, she's got some bloodlust for sure. And I actually like that dynamic that they did with that. I mean, I'll ask you this. Do you think it's a possibility they could make both of them? That theory has been out there about both sisters.
Yeah, maybe like a Dexter style thing. You've seen Dexter?
Yes.
Maybe they'll go after other ghost faces. I definitely don't think Tara was involved from the beginning. I think she's gonna turn, if anything. Yeah, I don't think she was involved in 5 per se.
Yeah, I don't neither. I really don't. But there's, especially with how they portrayed her in that Ethan scene, there's potential there to do it. And what we know, especially about what and I hope I'm saying his name right. I had it right in the video. I want to say Jeff Snyder from, the Hot Mic podcast. He's saying that the studio is like, if Jenna's not ready by the time we're ready to start filming, we'll move on without her. So that does beg the question, if they do want to fit her in the movie, do they just make the switch and have her be a killer? Like, you see her for a few scenes and then in the end reveal her as a killer.
Yeah.
That's something that is definitely on the table, especially with how they portrayed her in that Ethan scene.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting. I personally feel like, and this all predicates on if they're going to keep going on with the franchise with the Carpenter sisters. The reason why I feel like Jenna would be the better choice is, and I love Melissa Barrera. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of hers. You know what I mean? I didn't like her acting too much in 5. 6, definite step up.
For sure.
But she's around my age. She's about 33, going on 34. And when I look at, the franchise going forward, if they're looking to keep, a star around the caliber of Jenna Ortega, she has a little bit more youth on her side. She's in her early 20s. So
Right.
you can bleed a few more movies out of her. I don't know if you can do that with Melissa, which is why I do think maybe in 7 or possibly 8, depending on how 7 goes, they could end her storyline or whatever.
I honestly could see them killing off Tara in 7.
And
maybe add to Sam's trauma. I feel like Jenna Ortega does want to eventually move on to other things, so I can see them killing her off in 7. Another reason why I think Tara could be Ghostface is because she's Sam's half sibling, just like Roman was Sydney's half sibling.
Good point.
And they're mirroring the original movies, so I don't know. Tara could be the new Roman.
I mean, again, I'm not, if they do it right, I'm not against it. You know what I mean? I just feel like if that's going to be the case, then we have to end the Carpenter story, the Carpenter Loomis story at that film.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I feel like, I mean, and it's nothing against Melissa. She's a good looking girl, but you're not going to look young in your 30s forever.
Yeah.
That's going to show at some point, so I don't know if going forward with her in the franchise is the best thing. I could see them ending that storyline and then starting off maybe with a new cast, new crew, maybe new story. I hope they would never try to redo 96. That's one that's off the table for me, but we'll see how it goes. I will say, I do think there's potential for 8. I think, this is my personal opinion, I think that Radio Silence, if they come back, they're going to do 2 more films to mirror all 4 films that Wes did.
Right.
And I will say, if in 7 we don't get Stu revealed, then I think we go back to Woodsboro in 8, and that's when it's going to happen.
Yes. If anything, they need to tease Stu at the end of 7. If he's not going to full on return, they definitely need to tease it and give us something to keep it alive.
Right, absolutely. Scott Walker says, Marcus, can you ask her about it? I told you about Nev Campbell will return to play Sidney Prescott if Matthew Lillard returns to play Stu Macher. Yeah. Scott mentioned this last night, that you said that basically Nev said that she's not coming back unless Matthew does.
Well, Matthew said that he won't return unless Nev does.
Okay, got you.
That's why we need them both on board.
Right. See, and that's interesting because there was a rumor floating around out there that Nev said the exact same thing. And I said, okay, I can see Matthew saying that because, you know what I mean? It's Matthew. He hasn't been in the franchise since Scream 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, Scream 2, if you add the cameo. You know what I mean?
There are a couple cameos in 5 also.
Yeah, as the metal Ghostface. That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what geeks me out when people say, oh, no, it couldn't have been him who killed Dewey. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? They have stuntmen underneath the costume. Guys, they had him playing in another Ghostface role in the film.
Right.
Easily just put the costume on him and just say, hey, go do what you do, but we're not going to say it's you yet. And it's the same thing with Jack Quaid. He shot that scene, with Mindy. Ethan, what's his name? Jack Champion shot that scene in the apartment. So that whole notion about, oh, it's the stuntman that's underneath the costume. No, make no mistake. These actors, even if it's for one scene, they don the Ghostface costume too.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it wouldn't make sense on Nev's end to say that because then it'd be a dead giveaway that Matthew's going to be in the film.
Yeah.
If Matthew says that, you know what I mean, then it just at least opens the possibility that he's going to be in the movie. It doesn't 100% concrete prove that he is. He's just telling us, if you get Nev to come back, I'll come back.
It's got to happen.
Absolutely. I can't stand what the studio's doing with this whole Jenna thing too, though, because it's like, once again, they're proving they will exit a big star just to push a movie out.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, we've gotten we've gotten Scream 5, which was okay. Scream 6 was better. Now you have an opportunity to make a really good 7th film and possibly an 8th film. You got to have the queen come back to her rightful throne.
I know. They should just wait until everyone is available and ready.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. Stick with tradition, because Scream 3 didn't come out till 2 years after 2.
Exactly.
So 2025, then bring Scream back out. Let Radio Silence and Melissa make their Universal Monsters movie. Let Jenna do Wednesday and whatever the hell else she wants to do real quick. Mindy, or Jasmine with Yellow Jackets. Chad, was say Mason Gooding. I'm sure he has some projects he wants to do. What's her name? Courtney Cox. She's still on Shining Veils, if I'm not mistaken. Like, let these guys, get these other projects done. Give Scream a rest for a while, because if you do that, you're only building your marketing up better, in my opinion.
Yes.
We have a 2-year anticipation. It's not like with Scream 3. Scream 3, we weren't really expecting it. I'd like to say, you know what I mean? We didn't know exactly if we were going to get a Scream 3. We know at least a good portion of our brain that we're going to get Scream 7.
Yeah.
Let this anticipation build. You have an opportunity here. If you made over 200 something million at the box office this time around, you have a chance to make 300-400 million if you do it right.
For sure. As much as I don't want to wait, I want them to take the time to get it right.
Right. Absolutely. Just take the time to get the movie right. Like, trust me, I really don't want to wait neither. I want some of these questions answered. You know what I mean? But I'm willing to let it simmer, let it cook a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so Eric says, I think it's 55 in Jersey in July. Okay. Oh, so it is coming up. Oh, man. Oh, no, August 4th, he says. Okay, so August 4th. Okay. Well, looks like I know where my next trip is going to be. Hell yeah. I got to see who's going to be on that guest list. Oh, okay. So Kyle Brandon, what's going on, Kyle? How you doing today, man? Saying, do we for sure know that it wasn't Charlie? Just a thought. It was odd how you hear no communication between him and Sam when he's walking past her, and then he starts up again. Anyone noticed that? No, I definitely did. How about you, Pam?
Yeah, someone actually pointed that out in my comment section, that there's no talking when he does walk by, and then the second he's past them, the conversation starts up again.
Right. No, listen, it definitely could be Roy. You know what I mean? I feel like with the brighted, image that Craven did, it does kind of, make it not look like him as much. But, and I know, Kyle, you sent me that interview link, and I did watch that interview as well as a few other interviews that he did this year or whatever, and last year. And he looks like he gained a little bit of weight. He looks like he eating good down there in New York City. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like he's eating healthy. So I can see what you're saying, like, because that guy in the photo, on the sidewalk, his face is a little bit more fuller. I think the key is in the eyes, is because you can't really tell if that guy's eyes is blue or not, because Roy has blue eyes. And the lighting doesn't give you the benefit to see that. But it definitely could be. Listen, y'all know for a fact. That's my boy. And I want him to come back. Listen, that guy gets no love, man, no respect.
He's
and
underrated.
Stu gets no respect whatsoever. You know, outshined by their peers. You know, you got people calling Charlie a cuck. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Look at it from the artwork of him as a Ghostface killer. Violent, vicious, like, cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, Stephen Orff's gutting scene was gnarly. Olivia's was 12 times worse than that.
For sure.
You've seen organs and body parts sprayed across the bed. You've seen blood spatter all over the walls. And then on top of that, recording the murders. That's innovative. Like, and we never got confirmation that Jill recorded any murders. And I'll even go far as to say Jill only killed Trevor.
Yeah. I think Charlie had all the kills.
I see, but this is what's interesting, Pam. And this is why I think there's a third killer. Charlie only takes credit for Robbie, Olivia, Jenny, and Marnie. He didn't take credit for Kate, and he did not take credit for Sydney's publicist.
What about the cops? Did he take credit for the cops?
And the cops. He didn't take credit for the cops neither.
Interesting.
So there's 4 kills Charlie did not take credit for. And Jill even said about her mother, and this is why I definitely think there's a third killer. If you go back and watch Scream 4, she says, I mean, for Christ's sake, I had to have my own mother killed just to stick to the original. I had.
Yep.
That means she had somebody else do it. Charlie did not take credit for that. Hey, calm down, puppies.
Yeah.
Come here.
She didn't take credit for it. That's a very distinct wording. She didn't say, I had to kill my own mom.
Right. Come here, pups. It's okay.
Aw.
Yeah. Oh, they got to be a part of the stream at some point. They let me know. Like, listen, you're going to let me on here. But yeah, like it's interesting. And another thing is too, and I'm going to do a video about it just, you know, to get it out there, because a lot of people forget about this, about Scream 4. And I know Scott, so Scott, if you're still here in the chat, and I think you still are, Scott thinks that it was Stu who could have been a possible third killer in Scream 4 based on what Haas and Perkins said about they saw somebody go around back. Well, it couldn't have been Charlie because he was in Olivia's closet, and it couldn't have been Kirby, like I think, because she was with Jill.
Right.
But people forget Trevor was lurking around. Trevor was around the area. He showed up right after Jill got sliced.
Right.
So in my opinion, I think that was Trevor who they saw lurking around the houses. They didn't see him obviously fully, but that was possibly him, not another killer. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people forget about that Trevor was actually around.
Right.
Okay, so let me catch up with some comments real quick. So Pam, I do want to ask you, because I really want to dig into your Christina Carpenter theory. So what led you to this point with Christina Carpenter, and why do you feel that she is working with Stu Macher?
Well, I think it's very suspicious that they name drop Christina right in the very first opening scene of 5. That tells us that she's important. And Ghostface says on the phone to Tara that she loves horror movies, and she's proud of making Tara a fan as well. And the fact that she's not in 5 or 6, but she's mentioned in both, is very suspicious. I think, you know, she had a thing for Billy, a serial killer, and she's known Stu since high school. And I don't know. I just think she has a dark side, and that's why she would want to work with Stu, because she, in a way, misses Billy. So she needs another serial killer in her life.
I mean, that's not far-fetched to think. You have some really good points, especially the fact that she did not even show up for Tara in the hospital.
Yes.
We have not seen her face yet. As well as, I know you mentioned this in your video, the security systems do make sense. She would have, the code to get into the house.
Yep.
I'll ask you this, because I think if it works this way, then we're on to something here. Angelina Tyler. What do you feel about her being alive and she's actually Christina Carpenter?
That's not my favorite theory. I personally didn't like Angelina that much, so I wouldn't really care to see her again, to be honest.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I know she was supposed to be the second partner originally. Do you think she faked her death in 3?
I do. The shoulder stab and then drug away.
Right.
That's never happened before, and I personally think, I think Jennifer Jolie would have been a better choice to be Roman's accomplice. They had a relationship, and we would have got that Gale Weathers turned into Ghostface twist. I feel like Jennifer would have been, and I still think if you go back and rewatch Scream 3, when Roman fakes his death, Jennifer's down there in the basement.
Yeah, that's suspicious. Definitely.
Yes, and especially what we've seen in Scream 5 and Scream 6 with Chad and Tara, surviving these ridiculous attacks where they should be dead, and stuff. Jennifer got stabbed, in the back, but like more towards the shoulder area and then a little poke in the stomach. I feel like she could have survived from that. And if people were like, oh, well, where's she been this whole time? She's an actress in seclusion. She left Hollywood. Actors and actresses do this all the time when they fall out of favor with Hollywood.
Right.
There was a time even Matthew Lillard talked about that. He has an interview out there where he talks about his place in Hollywood and how he accepts it and stuff because of how they did him dirty and stuff. So I do like the Christina Carpenter theory. I think the key is the diaries or whatever that Samantha found. I think there are definitely more.
For sure.
But the reason why I think Samantha has been involved from the start is because, and it's just my opinion, she was with Richie for 6 months? You don't have any idea what he's up to. You're working at the same place together. I have to assume you maybe stay most nights, together. You're in a relationship, you're going to want to cut out with your boo thing. You know what I mean? Like, and then just the trips, to Woodsboro and back, it would take Richie. You didn't, and then on top of that, she as well would know the security systems. That used to be her house. And we know for a fact, you go back and watch that opening scene of Scream 5. There is more than one killer, 2 killers. Somebody is at Amber's house. That's a live feed.
You think pre-recorded?
Nope. The timing is too perfect. Someone's got to die now, and then the knife raises. That's a live feed. So Amber's in her room. Whoever's outside recording her or live feeding her, that's another ghost face. Then you got one at the house. And what you hear when Ghostface is attacking Tara is man's grunts. Now, I know some people say, oh, that's invalid because of the Ghostface, the modulator. You can tell when the modulator is on and you can tell when it's off. You can tell the grunts between the Ghostface voice and the actual stunt person's voice. Grunts. And that's a man's grunts. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I think Samantha was a key contributor to putting everything together. What I feel is this, is when she found out about who Billy was, we got to keep this in mind. She was gone for 5 years. Right. She could have done anything in that point in time. She could have looked up who Stu Macher was. And that's what geeked me out about that ending scene, the final act. You don't know where Stu Macher lives?
Right, yeah.
Come on. You need to watch the original Stab. You even looked at Richie and said, you've never seen Stab? That tells me that you know about the franchise. That tells me you have done your homework on your father and one Stuart Macher. Now, what I think is happening is they're remaking the franchise. They're remaking the original 3 trilogy. That's her plan. If this ends in Scream 7, this was all her plan. And it's all about legacy. It's all about finishing what Billy didn't get to finish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The whole point was for him and Stu to make it to the sequel. Well, Stu did, but Billy didn't. You know what I mean? So I think, especially, and this is another thing that's odd about Samantha in Scream 6. 6 months after Richie tries to kill you, you're sleeping with Danny, a guy you don't know, in a whole new state. On top of that, you keep Richie's phone number in your cell phone.
Yeah.
Why? And say, oh, I forgot to take it out. Nah, chick, you scripting this shit. You knew that his parents was coming after you. That's how the movies go. If Stab 1, Stab 2, and Stab 3 follow the exact same order of the original 3 Scream films, then you know for a fact that your grandmother tried to kill Sidney for Billy. So then you're going to know that Richie's parents are most likely going to come after you. You know, I think that Samantha, and Radio Silence even said this, her dropping the mask isn't about it isn't about moving her. She is. It's about her accepting that she's a killer. And what I think in Samantha's case is, I think when you go back and rewatch Scream 5 and that final act scene, when Richie stabs her, that wasn't part of the plan. Richie went rogue. Because when he stabs her, she shakes her head no. Now, you can say she's shaking her head no, basically being like, no, don't do this. But I don't take it that way. You know what I mean? This isn't part of the plan, which is why when we get that unknown phone number calling the house, she looks at Richie and says, it's, yeah, because they're all in on it. And he fucked up. Like, that's how I feel like. And I get it. People would say it, you know, it could be too obvious. And that's why I think it's so perfect. You know what I mean? Because people would think it's too obvious that they don't think it's going to happen. And I think
so
it would be perfect.
You think Sam was working with Richie from the beginning?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, absolutely. You have 5 years to plan this.
Right.
5 years. You know, and you could have done all your homework on Stu. You could have found out whether he was alive, if he was incarcerated, anything. You could have found out anything in those 5 years, you know, and I feel like this too. Who does the attack start with? It starts with her sister. Christina is closer to Tara than she is to Samantha. She wants to hurt Christina because what Christina did to her by keeping this secret from her.
Right.
You know, so another thing about Samantha, and this is just my opinion, and I know we got the whole ID in Jason Carvey's apartment that basically implies she was born, well, at least conceived in August, like maybe a month before the Woodsboro murders,
right?
You know, of '96. I still think that there's a case to be made that Sidney Prescott could be her mother. I genuinely believe that. And the reason why is because in Scream 5, when Dewey is talking to Sidney, he never mentions who Ghostface is after. He doesn't tell her about Samantha. But yet, when she shows up at the hospital, you see Gail point over to Samantha. And Sidney goes up to her and says, I know who you are. You're Billy's daughter.
Right.
Well, how did you know that?
Yeah.
You know, and then you put a tracker on her car? That's some motherly shit to me. Like, I'm sorry, you're so worried about protecting this girl? Like, I feel like even though it would have been, she would have had been born prematurely. That happens. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a good chance that Sidney Prescott could be her mother because also Samantha had some type of resentment with her, you know, when they met. If you caught that, like Samantha wasn't open arms with her, you know, and I just feel like that's a piece of dialogue that does need to be discussed about in the next film. How did Sidney Prescott know who Samantha was?
Right.
because we didn't hear Dewey tell her, and we didn't see any text messages. Not even in the deleted scenes did we see Dewey say, "Hey Sid, this is Billy's daughter who Ghostface is after." We didn't get any of that, and Gail as well, because people say in the hospital, "Oh, Gail's the one who directed Sydney to Samantha." I said, "Yeah, she showed her who Samantha was, but Gail didn't know who Samantha was. Dewey didn't tell her neither. That's why when they met, she's like, 'Oh, I'm sorry. Did you know Officer Hicks or whatever and stuff?'" Gail didn't. She was oblivious as to who Samantha Carpenter was.
Right. That's a good point.
So like, I think what is happening here, and especially too, this is an interesting piece of dialogue, and maybe I just take it a different way. When Kirby says to Samantha, well, when she says to Bailey anyway, when he asks, "You two know each other?" And Kirby says, "We share a certain history." I know people will relate that to Ghostface, but I think there's a little bit more deeper beneath that surface, because we know for a fact that Samantha started going off the rails. She started doing drugs, what have you. Who's to say before she went off to become a special FBI agent, Kirby Reed didn't go through the same issues. Maybe Kirby Reed was that big sister figure or motherly figure that Samantha was looking for.
Maybe.
So it's just so many twists and turns. I feel like with this new story, there's so many directions you can go in. And me personally, especially because, and we got to look at it this way too with Samantha. What did they do with Billy? They made him look obvious just to make him look like, just to reveal him as a killer anyway. So I definitely do think that that's on the table as well. It's going to be fascinating to see, but I love her as a killer. Whoo! Like, wow. Like, the way she kills both Richie and Bailey, I'm just like, wow. Keep her this way, please. Like, she's great as a killer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this, Pam. What are your thoughts on Danny?
So I think he's very suspicious. I also have a Danny theory on my channel. I think he's suspicious, and I think he could be revealed as a Ghostface in 7 for sure. I mean, we've never had a returning character before be revealed. And, I could see the creators being kind of scared to make it be Kirby because everyone loves her so much. So I think Danny would be a good option for them to make a returning character be Ghostface.
You know what's interesting about that, Pam? I don't know if you caught this interview with Radio Silence. They said when they did basically got all the actors together to do a testing of their Ghostface skills, they said he was the man. They said like his was astonishingly good.
Yes, I did hear that. So I can't believe they didn't go with him for 6. So maybe he's going to be revealed in 7. I could definitely see that.
It's funny, and you should check this out. Definitely check out my buddy Destin's channel, because he did a theory about this last week about Danny being the new Kieran, Scream season 2.
Yes.
The boyfriend who makes it to the second one, and then he's revealed as a killer. I definitely can see that with Danny. He didn't get attacked in Scream 6. They didn't come after him. He stands in front of a ghost face, on the subway, but yet he won't run over to the apartment while Ghostface is in the apartment.
Yes.
And he's very, very suspicious. He
sure.
really is. And that bit about family, family can be rough. Well, who's your family, Danny?
Right.
I know they gave you the name Danny Brackett to mimic Annie Brackett in Halloween, but I think that's a fake name. We got to find out who you really are.
Do you think he's related to Stu?
It's possible.
Definitely possible.
I also thought about Amber Freeman as well. We never seen any of her family members.
That's true. Where was her family?
Right. Charlie. It could be anybody, or, he could be Kirby's secret lover or something like that. That's what Destin thinks. Like, yeah, kind of like Piper and Kieran, in the original and Scream TV series. So, but I see, me personally, I just don't think that would work, because that's Charlie's girl, hands off. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. But there's so many directions we can go, Pam. Like, and it's interesting. It's a really fun time, not to just be a horror fan, but to be a Scream fan again.
For
like
sure.
we had to wait, what, 11 years?
Right.
You know, and I'm not gonna lie, like I said, Scream 5 was okay. It has its issues, you know, but Scream 6, it takes it to another level, you
Definitely.
know, and I really think that they have a golden opportunity to do something really special in 7, especially with some of these characters, like, you know, and I'll talk about it here, you know, like I did backstage about, you know, Kirby with the Bride of Chucky, you know, reference and stuff. So
Yep.
everybody, you know, I'm gonna still do the video. Don't worry, I'll do the video when I get back from Texas. You know, good old boy from Texas, Kentucky, got to go out to Texas later on today. You know what I mean, well, my theory is this: if you guys catch it, go rewatch the Bride of Chucky opening scene real quick before I get to your super chat, Bearded. I ain't forget about you, buddy. I see you here. And we're rambling right now, but in the opening scene of Bride of Chucky, Tiffany, and we all know that Kirby looked like Tiffany in Scream 6. Tiffany is working with a cop to get Chucky's remains out of the evidence locker. That cop's name is Bailey.
Crazy.
So, guys, I definitely do think that in terms of the Kirby Reed character from Radio Silence's perspective, especially in terms of her appearance, and then to add the fact we got a character who's a cop named Detective Bailey in 6. And then, of course, we got the Chucky dolls rolling around in the subway. You know,
Yep.
guys, I definitely think this is gonna. I think they're hinting at something here in terms of Charlie Walker and Kirby Reed. I really do. Like we say it about Stu. You don't drop this many Easter eggs to not pay it off.
Seriously.
Even if they're subtle, you don't do it if you're not going to pay it off with that actual person coming back, at least in my opinion. You have to bring that person back. It can't be somebody related to them. It can't be, oh, you know, I'm Charlie's brother, you know. No. I
Yeah.
want Charlie's brother. I want Charlie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Stu's sister, Leslie. Now, I will say this. I think Leslie is working with her brother. You know what I mean? I definitely do. That's another name drop in Scream 5 that we haven't put a face to the name.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this, you know, comes about. So, Pam, what do you think the chances are that we get Nev Campbell back in Scream 7?
I think there's a pretty good chance. I think I'm hopeful and confident that they will work it out, especially if they want to bring Stu back. They have to do it. Like, she has to understand that the fans need this. So please just make it work.
Right. I agree with you. And honestly, I think now that Scream 6 made even more money than 5,
Right, I was going to say that.
in my opinion, now the studio can't sit there and make the excuse we don't have the money.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it boils down to for me. When that whole debacle happened, I give her money. You know what I mean? Like, simple. Give her the money. She's going to put asses in the seats. You know what I mean? Like, there is some portion of the fan base that did not watch Scream 6 or go out to the theater because she wasn't in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's earned the right to get paid what she asks for. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you look at Scream now, the merch and everything is just flying off the racks. Like, we're not just even talking about the movie. We're talking about merchandise, conventions. You know, Scream is at an all-time high right now. Pay her money. Stop playing games with the OG. I mean, that's for real. Like, I'm a big believer that you put the time in, if you put the work in, the peso. You got to get the peso up.
Absolutely.
Especially if you want the best. You know, like, I'm a big New York Yankees fan, and people hate me for that. You know what I mean? Because the Yankees always bought their stars. Why do you think the Yankees is such a great brand? Why do you think they're such a known brand? You got to pay to get the best. Yep. I want to win. So I'm going to go pay for the best. You know what I mean? It's just is what it is. So Bearded Entertainment coming through with a $10 super chat. I am 26 minutes late on this super chat. I'm so sorry, Eric. But thankfully, StreamYard stars the super chat. So Thank you, my friend, for your $10 super chat. Bearded saying Radio Silence has 2 movies they are working on right now. Even if they make those at the same speed as Scream 6, then 7 wouldn't be in the theaters until 2027. That's too long. Got to strike now while it's hot. That's an interesting point to make. I didn't know they had 2 projects they wanted to make. I only thought they only had that one Universal Monsters movie. Ooh, that's interesting. What do you think about that, Pam?
Yeah, I think 2027 is way too long.
Way too long.
I think 2025 is like the latest that they should do. I also didn't know that they were doing 2 movies. I thought it was just the one.
Yeah, I thought it was just the one with Melissa. Oh no, that's right. I think they're doing the remake of Escape from New York. The John Carpenter, that John Carpenter did in the 80s. Yeah, they're remaking that. I forgot about that project. That's right. Damn.
Do you think maybe that means they'll get new creators for 7 now?
You read my mind because I was about to ask you the same thing.
I don't think they can wait that long till 2027.
No, we can't wait that long. It's gonna definitely fizzle out. It's a good point Eric made. Man. See, I don't want it to be new creators because I want to continue the continuality. I want the consistency to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a new creator to write for these creators' characters, but if they're booked up, it might be the way we have to go. I hate to say it. I mean, I will say this. If you can get Damian Mace to sign up for it, I'd be perfectly on board with it. Damian Mace, he does basically a lot of like special effects in the MCU and all that stuff, but he did this whodunit called Don't Hang Up.
Interesting. Never seen it.
I love it. It's a blend of Scream, Saw, and Unfriended wrapped up into this beautiful, beautiful picture of a movie, in my opinion.
What was it called again?
Don't Hang Up. And I guess why I like it so much too is because it deals with content creators. It's crazy. It's good. It was really good, and it definitely deserves a lot of recognition. I'm actually going to be doing a watch party here soon on it and stuff. It's really good, at least in my opinion. The only issue, and I say it all the time, the mask. The mask of the killer, it definitely could have did it. They could have did it. Dude. They could have made it a lot more compelling. You know what I mean? They could have came up with a way better mask. But the overall story and how it plays out, because I'm a fan of Scream, obviously. I'm a fan of Saw, and I am a fan of Unfriended, the original. I like the second one, but the original Unfriended, I liked it a lot because it was something fresh. It was something different.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Unfriended, Pam?
I believe I have a few years ago, only once, so I'm not like an expert.
Right. I'm telling you, it's good. I like it. It's like I said, it's something different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like all 3 of those films, then you will like, Don't Hang Up. You get the whole phone aspect. It's just cool. It's a good movie.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely give it a watch. It's worth it.
I will say, though, that if this current team of the screenwriters and stuff don't do Scream 7, I'll be super bummed because the one writer, his name is Guy, he's on the stew train. I think he's the one that has been planting these little Easter eggs. So I want him to stay and write Scream 7. I think he's working with Radio Silence on the new Melissa horror movie. So I'll be bummed if he's not involved in 7 because I'm scared that a new writer won't want to do the stew plot line.
Right. No, I agree. I agree with that. And that's another reason why I don't want new writers neither. Even though I do think they could touch up their writing a little bit and tighten it up. I want that, continuality. I want that consistency. And I agree with you. He's definitely been the one planting those little stew Easter eggs. And, I just wonder who the hell's been planting the Charlie ones because I didn't expect this. You know what I mean? I'll be honest. I did not expect especially going into Scream 6, like we were going to get this many references to Charlie Walker. You know what I mean? And it's cool. I'm here for it. Like, why not? People out there say, oh, Charlie is dead. There's no way. Guys, check it out. I did a video about this. You can survive a stab wound to the heart if the doctors know how to do their job. That's just all it is. And that's the truth. Like, if they can obviously stop you from losing so much blood, and then they go in and they do their procedures that they do, you can survive from a stab wound to the heart. You know, I did it in that video. I talked about how this guy got stabbed twice, not once, twice in the heart in real life. 12 days later, walking amongst the public, no complications. Same with Charlie Walker. My boy lives.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the franchise emphasizes unless you shoot them in the head, they can come back. I mean, hello, he wasn't shot in the head.
Yes, absolutely. And much like Kirby, we never seen his body, and Stu, we never seen their bodies carted out of the house.
Exactly.
Not once. So I'm all here for it. Yes. So Kyle Brandon saying, would it be too far-fetched to think Christina got pregnant by Stu years after having Sam, with Stu being Tara's father, and he was under a different alias the whole time? What do you think about that, Pam? I'll let you start with that.
So I have talked about this on my channel in my Tara theory. I heard someone else say this at first. What if Stu is Tara's dad? And at first I thought it was a little crazy, but now I really love that idea. I can see it happening. I mean, like I said, Christina has a thing for serial killers. She was in love with Billy Loomis. And
so was Stu.
Right. And she made her husband think that he was Sam's dad for 13 years. So who's to say she didn't lie again and hook up with Stu and have Tara? I really like the idea of these two iconic serial killers from the first movie, both being the fathers of both Carpenter sisters. I like it. I'm here for it.
That would be a crazy twist. Oh, man. It's not like I don't like it. I think it's just you would have to do a lot of explaining on how the hell did Stu not go to jail? Like,
yeah, so you think he's been?
Yeah, I wouldn't say not, you wouldn't have to do a lot of explaining, because I actually did do a video about this, and it's not impossible that Stu beat the charges. And the reason why I said that is because you only seen Ghostface attacking people. You didn't really see Stu Macher. You didn't really see Billy Loomis.
Right.
And we know Stu Macher got peso. So if he has a good lawyer that can make that type of case, that can cause reasonable doubt to a jury like that, it could be. I just feel like that a lot of people in Woodsboro, I think, I'll put it this way. If Stu was alive and amongst everybody, especially in Woodsboro, I think somebody would have tried to kill him. I do. Maybe like Casey's family, you know, who else? Stephen Orff's brother, you know, because or at least we assume his brother, because in Scream 4, the doctor that was treating Sydney, his name is Dr. Orff and stuff. So I just feel like if Tara's dad is Stu, I just feel like everybody around Woodsboro would have tried to crucify him, you know? So, but I like the twist that, you know, both sisters could be related to both killers.
I mean, they both have a dark side.
Right. That would be so nuts. Like,
I think
going different. Wow.
I think Billy's dad, Hank Loomis, was a lawyer. So maybe he helped out the Macher family. They were friends. And what was I going to say? Oh, Stu kind of gets erased from the story. Like in Scream 2, what's his name? Cotton said Sydney killed Billy Loomis. He didn't say anything about Stu.
Right.
In the final act, Sydney says, I killed Billy Loomis, not Stu. She never said Stu. And then Tara forgets about Stu in the opening scene. Liv doesn't know who Stu is. So I could see like Billy's dad being a good lawyer for him and getting him kind of erased from the story. So everyone just forgets about him. And no one knows that he was like involved.
That's true. That's a good point to make. What I think happened, and at least I feel like it's most plausible, is that Stu was in jail, but he faked his death in jail. He got money. He could have the resources, especially if Kirby now is an FBI agent. And we are who we think she is. You know what I mean? That could definitely work because then the authorities wouldn't know he's alive. Nobody would know. Everybody would assume he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely do think there's some meat on the bone to go different ways with it. I just hope that they wouldn't make it like crazy, like that it's not believable, you know.
Right.
But I definitely do think that he's alive. You know, I talked about it many times. Kevin Williamson doesn't try to bring him back if he isn't. Like, why would he write a script that was for Stu Macher in Scream 3 if he wasn't supposed to ever come back?
Exactly.
You know, so you can't tell me in canon he's not dead. You can't tell me he's dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and there's just too many Easter eggs that point to him being alive. You know,
Absolutely.
I get some people will believe, oh, when they talk about, oh, you know, the two knives over the head and, you know, well, the knife clutching, you know, two hands on the clutch, you know, oh, it could be somebody mimicking Stu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but again, then I go back to why go through all that just to not have the proper payoff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You got to have it be the proper payoff. And I definitely do think that he's alive. And I think that in Scream 5 and Scream 6, with both Dewey and Gail Scene, he was involved. Now, I'll say this. I don't think he was the one who killed Dewey anymore. I think that was Charlie.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 with that.
The reason why I think it was Charlie is because of the dialogue. It's an honor.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another thing, is that we know for a fact Charlie's a good little soldier. He's going to ride. You know what I mean? If Stu told him, hey, gut him from groin to sternum for me, you know, or, you know, do him like that, Charlie would do it. You know, Charlie is one of those guys, you point and say, get him, Charlie's going to get him. You know what I mean? Like, Charlie is just, he's that loyal of a soldier. You know, he did it for Jill, did it for Kirby too. He's still doing it for Kirby, you know, if you ask me, you know, so I think there's just so much potential with all of our theories that we have that, and I know a lot of people say if it does play out that way, they're just doing fan service, but isn't that what we want?
Right.
Like, I love and I somewhat, you know, hate when people say, oh, they're just doing it for fan service at this point. What is it supposed to be about? They're trying to get us, the fans, to like it.
We're the ones keeping it alive.
Exactly. So why not have the majority of the movie, or at least a good portion of it, of things we want to see? You know, like, we're paying our hard-earned money to go see it, to support it. So yeah, I want to see some things that I talk about in it. You know what I mean? Just like I want to see somebody else's theory come, you know, to fruition. You know, I definitely do think there's a lot of good theories that could work in a Scream movie if it's done right. Okay, guys, I know how comment all of those. You know, when conversation with a guest, it just goes. So, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to get caught up on you guys' comments. But if you guys do have a burning question that you do want to ask either me or Pam, send in a super chat and, you know, I'll make sure we get to it. Hey, Carrie, what's going on? Another one of my Woodsboro level members and moderator and just a great overall pillar and friend in the community. I actually did a live stream watch party with Carrie on Monday. We did 7. You ever seen that film, Pam? 7?
Yes, great film.
Very, very good film. Stacey don't get no love for that. Like, dude, on another level. Like, it's crazy. Larry Crave Cinema says, oh my God, can we imagine that Christina is not actually Sam's mother and it was actually Sydney? Hey, I'm telling you, man, like, listen, you know, I just don't feel like that's done for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, I know who you are. You're Billy's daughter. And then I'm going to put a tracker on your car. Sam, you're at the original house. Get the hell out of there. Get the fuck out of there. That's motherly instincts, you know, and this is the most important thing. And Pam, I'm sure you would agree. For an OG like Sydney Prescott, the queen, that was a mental error because for all she could have known, Sam could have been like Billy and could have turned out to be the killer.
True.
And she walked right into the trap.
I would definitely be suspicious of Sam if I knew she was Billy's daughter. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Like, how do you not be suspicious of her? You're just like, oh, I'll put a tracker on her car. I'm going to make sure she's safe. And, you know, it's just like, I don't know if it's just bad writing or if it's just intentional. I feel like it's intentional, you know, and this is another thing too. And I brought this up a while ago in Scream 5 and I kind of walked back on it, but now I'm walking back up to it. You know what I mean? That phone call that Sydney gets from Ghostface, in my opinion, I think that was Sam.
Interesting.
We don't know where Sam is at in the house at that point.
Mm-hmm.
She could have had a burner cell phone on her at the time. You know what I mean? Like, she had Sydney Prescott's number.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying whoever Ghostface was couldn't have got Sydney's number from Dewey's phone.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not mistaken, I'd like to think Dewey had a lock on his phone. Especially being a former police officer. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Samantha in that scene where Sydney gets the phone call, that's Samantha. Because it can't be Richie and it can't be Amber. Sydney would have heard that. And we would have seen Richie. Yeah, we would have seen Richie throw the. We would have heard Richie in the closet.
Right.
If he was doing Ghostface on Sydney, that we would have heard him in the closet. He was too busy trying to hide from getting shot by her. What are your thoughts on that character? I like the Richie Kurtz character in Scream 5.
So at first, you know, he's definitely not my favorite, and at first I didn't like him that much, but Scream 6 definitely makes me appreciate him a bit more, having more backstory on him and like the fan-made films. So I appreciate him a bit more.
I do too. I liked him just because he just kind of had that sadistic, clever humor to him.
Yeah,
you know, like, yes, he was off the top. And I like that. I like that type of killer. That's why I like Stu so much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you really call the police? My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. Like, stuff like that, like, it makes killers like that memorable. And then, like, Richie to Sydney. Did you watch Stab 8 or did you watch the new Stab film? I don't watch horror movies. Oh, okay. Sucks balls. Like, like, it's just dialogue like that. It's just like, I'm like, I fucks with him. He's funny. Yeah, but definitely Scream 6 elevated his character with that Ghostface shrine and stuff. Now, I'm not going to lie, going into it, I thought that was another clue of Charlie because, you know, he's a big Stab fan. Right. But one thing we did not see on the projectors was Jason Carvey's or Greg Brockner's death. And we know for a fact that the cameras were rolling when Jason was getting killed. Right. So where's that footage? The plot thickens. You know, the only one who ever recorded anything in the franchise was Richie, outside of Roman, because Roman did, you know, record Marine, but he didn't record no murders. That's got Richie. I mean, Richie. That's got Charlie written all over it with those cameras.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, guys. So I know I'm like way behind in the chat, so I'm just gonna have to like zoom forward and just catch up as best as I can. I apologize. Okay, you know, I usually don't do this, you know, but I said the next time I see something like this, I'm going to voice my opinion on it because I feel like it needs to be said. The Green Gaze coming in with a chat saying, okay, is it going to pull up? What's going on here? Okay. Oh, no, Michael Joe. There we go. Sorry to the Green Gaze. Oh, no, the Green Gaze said it too. So both Michael Joe and the Green the Green Gays say Scream is woke. Okay, listen, guys. I'm not trying to go on a political rant here. I'm not trying to go do all that, okay? But I will say this, and it's just my opinion, and you can disagree or you can agree. We have got to stop using that fucking word for everything. We do. Like, we use that word for everything we don't like anymore. And it has absolutely nothing to do with what the definition stands for. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it drives me absolutely insane. And I have done a great job through over a year of being here on YouTube of just bypassing, these type of comments. But I'm not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? This has to stop. You know what I mean? My thing is this. Okay, so I'm going to put woke into perspective for you, right? The definition of woke, right? Consider yourself woke too, because woke means alertness. So that means if I come to break into your house and you hear me, you're going to be alert to that. That means you are woke. You know what I mean? So this whole, thing, Scream is woke, or this movie's woke, this and that. We have got to stop using this word as a way to displeasure what we don't like about the film, because it absolutely has no meaning on what the definition actually means. And I'm not trying to be rude and go on a tangent here, but I've held it in for over a year, and I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, I like to be honest with you guys. I like to be transparent, and I just feel like, you're entitled to your opinion. If that's how you feel about Scream, cool. But in my opinion, we have to get to a point where we got to stop using the word woke for everything we don't like, because what you may not like about the film has absolutely no relation to what woke actually means. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So again, the Green Gays and Michael Joe, I respect y'all opinion, but me personally, and I would appreciate it, can we just stop using that word? If you don't like the film, just say, please, I don't like it. It's just gotten to the point where, it's like, oh, well, this is woke, that's woke. Well, guess what? So are you. Because guess what? So let's say if you have a kid, and knock on wood, this never happens. You know what I mean? If you have a kid and you're at a park and your kid happens to wander off and you lose sight of him, you are alert to that. That's what woke means. It's awareness. It's alertness. You know what I mean? If somebody jumps one of your friends, you know what I mean, and nothing gets done about it, that's an injustice, is it not? That's what woke means. So please, guys, can we get past this point that everything we don't like in movies or just in general, or everything we don't agree with is woke? It's just, it's starting to, listen, I'm already getting fucking older as it is. You know what I mean? This shit's taking years off my life. I'm not lying to you guys. Like, I just, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to have a conversation without having to see something, oh, that's woke, when it has nothing to do with the actual definition. That's all I'm asking of you guys. Please and thank you. Sorry for the rant. Sorry. Oh, man. Okay, so let me get caught up here. What's up, Matt? I know I talked to you a little bit earlier saying Sister Pam coming in with a doozy. Brilliant. Yeah. Hey, guys, listen, she's got some incredible ideas. If you haven't already, check out that 20 Clues to Stu Mocker video. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, girl. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm just like, some of this shit I didn't even fucking point out. Like that takes a lot of deep homework. But that's what we do. Guys, like, we do our homework. We try to do our homework for the most part. And that's why I stress to you guys, like, if we can't get content out, that's why sometimes I can't get content out every day, because I'm so fixated on one thing that I'm constantly going, and whether it's breaking down film, reading an article, whatever, especially the breaking down film shit. That shit, that takes a minute. You know what I mean? And stuff. But it's all worth it at the end of the day, because you find things that you never paid attention to before. It's fun.
You caught the Woodsboro area code. That is one of the best finds, in my opinion.
What, the phone?
Yeah,
yes.
Gale in Scream 6.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. And the Christmas clue that you found.
Yes.
great.
Yes, I'll tell you real quick about the first one or whatever with the phone number. When I was in the theater, I actually caught the early showing on Thursday or whatever, and I hit up my buddy Ryan. I was at work, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, we're going to see it early. We're going to see it early," and I wanted to wait till Friday, and I was just like, "Fuck, you guys made me do it." Called up my buddy. I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing tonight?" And he's just like, nothing, buddy. Just sitting in the house." I'm like, "Fuck that. You're going to watch Scream 6 with me." He's like, "Seriously, I want to see it." I'm like, "You're going with me. I got your ticket." So he came pick me up from work or whatever, this and that. We went to go see it. And I remember when that scene came up. And I'm not going to lie. I need glasses. From a distance, my shit is shot.
Same.
Or whatever. But all I know is when that phone started ringing, I seen numbers. And I tried leaning in. I'm like, "That's numbers." I'm like, "That's not an unknown number. I got to go back and watch it when I get home on my app." So when I pulled that up and I seen that 707, I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah. When I saw your video on that, months ago at this point, I got chills. And if you look at the trailer, it does say unknown caller in the trailer, but obviously in the movie, it's the Woodsboro area code. I cannot believe that.
I can. They did that for a reason, Pam. If they wanted to, they could have kept it like it was in the trailer and kept it as unknown. They did that for a reason. They did that to let us know that at least we're on the right track. You know what I mean? I'll say that. They're not 100% confirming anything, but you don't have a Woodsboro area number called Gail when the family isn't from Woodsboro.
I mean, come on.
Right. And stuff like it's crazy. And then once again, the dialogue, like you pointed out, dipshits. Like that totally went over my head. Like I was just like, when you said that, I'm like,
yeah,
did Gail call him a dipshit? And then I'm like, that's right, she did say Scream 96. So I went back and I watched it. I'm like, oh, she did. Stumbled upon you two dipshits.
and Billy also called Stu a dipshit. But
that's right.
Stu is the only one to be called a dipshit by both Gail and Billy.
Wow, that's a good point. That's a good point right there. I did not catch that. That's right. Finally, you dipshit, get up. I can't, Billy, man. I'm cutting to pieces. I think I'm dying here, man.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, man. It's so funny because my buddy Matt, who I work with. So, Matt, if you're watching the stream, shout out to you, my friend, or whatever. I'm the first person I've ever heard in life. He does not like Matthew Lillard.
What?
Yeah, he's like, I just don't like his acting. I don't think he's a good actor.
Man.
And I'm just like, you're just saying that because you have the same name. Whatever stuff. It's a competition thing.
Yeah.
Just, honestly, I just don't like his acting. And I just personally, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
You go back and watch. You ever watched The Curve?
No.
Oh, Pam. Yo, I'll put this way to you, Pam. If you're down for it, we can do an early morning live watch party watching The Curve. It's a whodunit. And all I'm going to say is this. If Stu ends up being the mastermind, they definitely took inspiration from The Curve. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. It's not like a lot of kills. It's not bloody or anything like that, but it's a really good whodunit.
What year did it come out?
I think it came out, I want to say either a year before or after Scream. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I can pull this up right now. Let me look real quick. The Curve. It also has Carrie Russell from Serenity. I don't know if you ever heard about that old school show.
No.
Yeah, it has a few people in it. It has a good little cast. 1998, so 2 years after Scream 96.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yes, it's really good. It's Matthew's a great. I'll put it this way: he plays a great mastermind. He's fucking amazing. He does such a good job. Okay, let me get to some more of you guys' comments real quick. Hey, I understand. Carrie saying I would actually come to terms better if Stu killed Dewey. I get it. I understand that. You know what I mean? I understand some people could not imagine Charlie being the one to kill Dewey, because if we're going to judge Amber because of her frame, then I guess you would have to because of Charlie too, because he's not the biggest guy in the world. However, I will say is this: he's not 18 years old anymore. Like I said in the video the other day, guys, he's not a kid anymore. He's damn near 30 years old. You know what I mean? He's entering his physical prime. You know what I mean? So he would be able to do something like that, in my opinion. Yes, he may not have the height. He's what, 5'6"? But I will say this, is if they had, and I'm just throwing it out there, if they had Mikey Madison wear like 4-inch stilts or whatever to make her look taller, Rory could do the same thing. Because when I really go back and rewatch that scene in Scream 5, especially when you get close-ups, that Ghostface isn't that much taller than Dewey. And Matthew is 6'4". He's towering. You know what I mean? So, again, it definitely could still be Stu. Me personally, I think Stu sent Charles to do the deed.
I definitely think both are possible, but I did catch another Stu clue in that scene right before Ghostface shows up. Richie gets hit with the phone. Tara hits Richie with the phone, and Richie says, "Did you hit me with the phone?"
Yes.
Which is obviously a callback to Stu. So I don't know. For me, it could be either Stu or Charlie in that scene, but I definitely don't think it's Amber.
No. And this is another thing too, Pam. I don't know if you caught this. That Ghostface was wearing a bulletproof vest. Now, where was Amber's bulletproof vest in the final act?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why wear a bulletproof vest in that scene,
right,
but not anytime else? That don't make any sense. You know, and as well as, remember what Ghostface said to Gail on the phone? Maybe I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. That to me is the same Ghostface.
Right.
You know, yeah. So I definitely, it's not Amber. I don't care what anybody says. Sure. If you really think it's Amber, hey, great. You're entitled to your opinion. The physics ain't matching up to me.
No.
And I always say this. Okay, so if you really expect, if you expect Amber to be able to gut Dewey up that way, then she should have been able to toss him around like a rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't able to do that. The same thing with Quinn. You know, when you see Quinn attacking Chad and Tara in the hallway, you know, before they, you know, do the two killer, you know, stabbing Chad, that is Quinn, because you can tell by the mask or whatever and stuff if you really hone in on it. Chad easily just threw her into the glass, no problem. So if she can't overpower Chad, who would be around the same height and build as Brooks, maybe even more solid, even bigger. Mm-hmm. If she can't overpower Chad, how do you expect her to pick up Brooks at dead weight and just toss him through? You know, it's not happening.
No, not at all.
Not happening. Now, I want to ask you this, Pam. Do you think the family could actually be related to Stu? Because Radio Silence said that the Kirsch Bailey names are pseudonyms.
Right.
And I know a lot of us here in the community had an issue with that because of Bailey being a cop. But I now have a new interesting theory about that, and it's the fact that he was undercover using the Bailey name. He wasn't using his real name. He was using an undercover name. And we know for a fact cops use undercover names all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think that what's going on. What do you think about that? Do you think the Baileys or Kirsches, whoever the hell they are, do you think they could be related to Stu?
I don't know. So you think Richie also could be related to Stu, obviously, if he's part of the family? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible. But so when I was first watching 6 in the theaters and Quinn said something about her brother, like when her brother died, she said it in the beginning. My first thought was maybe they are related to Stu. I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you. And I knew. As soon as she said that, I was like, it's Richie's sister. I was like, I knew it. They gave it away so easily. Yeah. You know, and I like Dermot Mulroney. Mm-hmm. But when he came out of the house, when he came out of the apartment, you know, when he's coming out of the alleyway, I'm just like, bro, I'm like, bro, come on, bro. You couldn't have made it any more obvious. Like, and then the classic, you fuck with my family, you die. like, I'm just like, oh man, I like Dermot, but that just was a dead giveaway. I will say this though, for me, in the final act, Dermot killed it. I liked his quirkiness. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Especially when Sam says to him, Richie was such a man baby or whatever. He's like, huh? No, he wasn't. like he was a fertile boy or whatever he said he was. I'm just like, yo, this motherfucker's a goofball, but I like it.
Yeah, his performance was very funny, and it's grown on me with every rewatch for sure.
Right, and that's how I feel about it too. Like I feel like when you first watch it, you're like, but when you go back and rewatch, it's like, man, this motherfucker's funny. I will say this: I don't know how you feel about this. I would have liked to see more action from Quinn.
Yeah, I liked her character. I just think she wasn't used enough.
Right.
It would have been nice to see more from her for sure.
Right, absolutely. I would have liked to see her get more opportunity to killing. I feel like she could have been a really good killer if they would have maximized her potential. Like that scene where she comes up to the upper level and she, smiles and she spits out the blood. I'm like, oh yeah, I like her. She got a toughness. Like she a tough cookie. You're gonna have to shoot her in the head to bring her down. You know what I mean? Like I like Quinn. I just wish she would have had a lot more to work with.
Sam.
Now, what do you feel about Ethan?
Ethan, honestly, is my least favorite Ghostface out of all 13 or so of them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think his performance was a little over the top. I don't know. I just don't like him.
Oh, I don't blame you. I'll put it this way. I already knew going into the movie Ethan was going to be a killer because he reminds me so much of Matthew. Even though he had curlier hair, that serious face, I'm just like, that's Matthew written all over it. Plus, Craven did a video talking about how he Jack Champion followed Matthew Lillard. That was a dead giveaway in my opinion right there. And he did kind of have that goofiness a little bit, tried to anyway of Stu. I feel like he did try to capture that.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I don't know how you feel about it. I think he did most of the killings now.
Yeah, I think so too.
He was trying to live up to Richie. And I think that would have been even more validated had they would have kept the scene of Bailey and Ethan killing the mother. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah. I think, and there's a reason why they didn't keep that scene. You know what I mean? I don't know who the mom is, but there's a reason why they decided to cut that scene. But in my opinion, if you do keep that scene, then that shows, in my opinion, Ethan was willing to even kill his own mother to prove to his dad that he can live up to his brother.
Right.
And, I ain't even going to lie. I felt bad for the boy, man. Bailey's all talking about Richie, giving Richie all his props. You cut the camera back to Ethan and got some waterworks in his eyes. It's like, oh, fuck, I just killed all these people for you. And you don't even talk about our bond. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to lie. If I was Ethan, I probably would have looked at him and said, you know what? I'm going to stab your ass for this shit. You know what I mean? Like you said. I think Ethan is okay as a character. I feel like they really didn't do enough with him and Quinn. And it made it entirely too obvious for me that he was a killer, she was a killer, Bailey was a killer, but there are definitely scenes and signs in this movie that there is another group of Ghostface killers out there that we have not gotten revealed. And it is interesting. And the one that really stands out to me is that subway scene, with that Ghostface charging at them and Danny stands right in front of them. And then they go out the other door. There's no reason to go out that door when you had a door that was right next to you. You could have just turned and walked.
Yeah.
So, man. So I'll ask you this, Pam, and I'm going to get to some of these comments here, guys. You guys, we're flowing right now. We're having a good conversation. So who would you pick to be in your Ghostface cult? at least Stu's Ghostface cult, I would assume there's going to be 7 because in Kevin Williamson's original script for it, there was Stu Macher plus 6 other people. Who do you believe would be Stu's 6 other cult members?
So I would like Kirby, Charlie, Christina, Danny, maybe Tara. I don't know. Who else? I think that's 5 I just named. I can't think of anyone else. Who would you?
I can.
Who?
Hold on. What about? Hold on. And I know Randy is your favorite character, so I'm going to hit you with this. What about Gale Weathers?
Being part of Stu's cult?
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm gonna tell you why. And Val, if you're still here, you know, the spicy general, Val gave me a really good perspective on this. And I kind of already was hinting at this when Tara said what she said to Gale in Scream 6. Without Ghostface, you'll be afraid you'll fade away. You seen the look on Gale's face.
Yeah.
She knew she was right. Who's to say that Gale didn't have a hand in restarting this whole thing again? Because we know in Scream 4, without Ghostface, she couldn't write. She had writer's block. Yeah. She did not know what to write about. So, to feed her ego and to feed her pockets, you know, who's to say? And we never got confirmation. Now, it's interesting because Bailey said that he basically put the shrine building, he put the names in Jason and what's his name? Greg's name. But then wouldn't that mean that Gale would have had to get it from Jason or, you know what I mean? Like, Greg? Yeah. If the building is in their name, wouldn't they have the key? See, something doesn't add up with that.
Yeah. So Ghostface did say on the phone to Gale in 6, you would have made a good killer. And I do think it's suspicious that she didn't know who Detective Bailey was, you know, after doing research for the book and whatnot. I don't know. It's definitely possible, but will they really have the balls to do that at this point? I don't know. That's the real question.
That is the real question. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. I don't know. I really don't. If they did, they grew a fucking massive pair because that is some big balls to do that. Yeah. But I think it's plausible. And I'm not against it. You know, when you really think about it in so many ways, you know, Gale is right what she said in Scream 5. She started all this. You know, because if she didn't write the book trying to, you know, claim Cotton's innocence, Cotton would probably still be in jail.
Right.
Who's to say that Billy and Stu would have went through with the Woodsboro massacre because there was no publicity behind it.
Right.
You know, so Gale definitely has had a hand in why this shit is the way it is. She definitely did.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
It would be interesting. I want to ask you about this. Thank you, real quick, Carrie. So, somebody asked in the chat for your link to your channel, and Carrie was kind enough to put it there because I do have it in the description of the stream here. So, any new viewers, if you're trying to find Pam's channel, I do have her link in the description here. So just check it out in the description or hit that link that Carrie just put in the chat box.
Thanks, Carrie.
Oh, yeah. Carrie's cool people. You know what I mean? Really cool people. For the most part, we have a lot of good people in this community.
Yes.
So I'm going to get to some of you guys' chat. Melissa's in the chat. I see you here, Melissa. What's going on? I just want to say hi to you real quick because I didn't get to say hi to you yet, and I know you've been here for a while. I agree, Kyle. Kyle Brandon coming through saying, awesome stream, guys. You should do more of these. Hey, Sister Pam, do you have any more clues to pick out from the sequels you want to share? Fire away, Pam.
Any more clues? Let's see. Stu clues specifically. I named so many in my 20 Stu clues. You know, And it's hard to think of them on the spot right now. Actually, I did want to ask you if you noticed that this in the scene where Tara stabs Ethan, did you notice that she lifts two hands above her head like Stu does?
Mm-hmm.
And I have that theory that
Mm-hmm.
Stu could be Tara's dad, and she lifts both arms above her head, and you can see Stu's red robe to the side of her when she does it.
Oh man, come on, Pam.
So that's for you.
Oh man, that's a good observation. I really didn't catch that. I didn't pay attention to it, I should say.
I
But
told
now
you
that I'm
guys
thinking
not to
about it,
get
yes, she does. Two hands on the knife.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this is another Stu clue, too. She lets out a giggle as if it was fun for her.
Yep.
Man.
And she says something like, now you can die a virgin. And, in the final act of the original, Stu says something to Sydney like, you're no
longer a virgin.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, man. Yeah. You gave it up. That's right. You gave it up. Yeah, fucking Stu.
I actually do have one more clue to share. So how in Scream 6, Tara wears a white and black striped shirt similar to Jill's shirt?
Mm-hmm.
So in the scene where Chad and Tara are like about to kiss in her room, he says to her, "Please don't kill your sister," which reminds me of Kirby saying to Jill in the beginning of Scream 4, "Please don't kill me," or "Promise not to kill me," before Jill gets in the car.
That's a good catch too.
I don't know.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, you be killing it with these dialogue catches and shit. Like, damn.
Yeah. All I do is watch these movies and make.
I know that's right. Wow, that was a really good pickup because I didn't even pick that up. Yeah. Wow. Oh man, the plot thickens. I mean, Tara could definitely be a killer. Yeah. Especially after Scream 6. If you would have asked me in Scream 5, not a chance.
Right.
But after seeing what we got in Scream 6, I'm like, listen, I mean, as long as it makes sense and it's done right, I'm not against it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not against it at all. I'd encourage it. I'd say this, but if they are going to do that, what I wish they would do is if you're going to have these girls be Ghostface killers, make it look like it's them. Underneath the costume, have somebody short play that role. I
agree.
Like, stop giving us somebody who looks physically imposing, and then when they're revealed, it's like, well, they're 5 feet, 100 something pounds. Like, stay true to what the actual actor's size is.
I agree. I think it's not fair to the audience, to be honest. In a whodunit, like, we look for these clues. And I think Neve Campbell was the one who told these new creators to not pay attention to that because then you'll be overthinking it. But I think it's important to look at the height and the size.
Hold on real quick. Okay, so this is a big problem because I definitely did set you up as a modulator, Carrie. I know Gina's talking about it, but I'm pretty sure that, you're talking about Carrie. Okay, so that's going to have to go back and get fixed because I definitely did give you a wrench, Carrie, and I don't know why YouTube is playing games with me. We're going to have to get that fixed. Don't worry. I'll make you a modulator because you should already be one. Like I said, I don't know why YouTube does certain shit like that. Because I set you up as a moderator a long time ago, Carrie. Nick Pugh's Horror Channel saying hi to Michael. What's going on, Nick?
Hi, Nick.
Nick Pugh's. I'm sorry. I'm so butchered that name. I'm sorry, Nick. I apologize. But I'm glad to see you here, man. I see you commented on the post, and you were really excited, that me and Pam were going to be linking up for this live stream. As well as I want to share with you, Pam, I'm sure you've seen him in your chats, XV Ryan. Mm-hmm. He sent me a email and stuff a few days ago, and he was talking about how basically both of our channels are like his comfort zone. Like, you know what I mean? When he's having like a rainy day or a bad day or whatever, he just throws on our content and he just listens away. And, I greatly appreciate that. Now, I wanted to share that with you because, he shared that information with me in the email and stuff like that. And I just think that's really cool. The effect we have on people, that's really cool,
Really
aspect of doing this.
I love that people enjoy
Oh,
it.
man.
I love doing it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know what I mean? I wish I would have started doing this a lot sooner. Like, honestly. Jamie Hart, I want a wrench too. Okay, book it. Say less. I got you, Jamie. Get back down here to some of you guys' comments real quick. Man, I'm so behind. Okay, now I'm caught up. Scott, I'm not meaning to go over your questions. I'm just trying to get caught up with the chat. But like I always say, buddy, if you do have a burning question, because you know how this goes, we have a lot of people chatting in the chat box. If you have a question that you really want to be seen, send in a super chat, because sometimes messages are going to get, looked over, because I'm trying to catch up. No, I can't get to every single message, but I apologize. But it's just, it's just how it is. Okay, so now that we're called up, all right, so I'll say we'll go another like 19 minutes, like 20 minutes. Is that cool with you, Pam? Hit it about the 2-hour mark. Yeah, cool. So, what is the biggest things you want to see in Scream 7, and what are the things you don't want to see in Scream 7?
Obviously, number one is Stu's return. I do want to see a good character turn bad, whether it's Kirby or Tara or Danny. I want to see that. It's about time we get a returning character go bad. One fun thing I want to see is I want to see Gail get her Pulitzer Prize finally. I do fear that it's Gail's time. I think she might die in 7, so I hope she gets her Pulitzer before then. Something I don't want to see. I don't know. What's something you don't want to see?
That's fucking funny. I like how you flipped that real quick. That was good. I will say what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Charlie Walker not in the movie. So now let me stop playing. If Charlie's not in the movie, I expect it. It's not going to deter how I feel about the movie in any shape, way, or fashion. I just would feel like it would be a tremendous missed opportunity, especially to link him and Stu together. Brutality would reign if you would bring them two together. I agree, yeah. Which is why I want to see that. But I will say what I don't want to see in Scream 7, I'll start off with that. I don't want to see half-ass storytelling.
Yeah.
I don't want to see things get picked up and then put down, and we get no explanation of, anything on that. And I also don't want to see another killer who's physically not capable of committing the crime.
I agree.
I feel like we have to move to this stage now to where if we're going to reveal a killer, let them be the size they are. Like, let them be who they are. Let them be portrayed in that way anyway. So I think those are the most basic things I don't want to see in Scream 7. If I had to think of any other one, oh yeah, if there's another one, let some people die in this one.
I was to say that.
Let some people die. You know what I mean? Like, don't let everybody live. Like, you totally took away the whole aspect of what you set forth with Dewey in Scream 5, saying that basically the rules, there's no more rules. Everybody's on the table. And then you keep everybody alive. Like, I love Chad's character. Love Mason Gooding in that role. Should be dead.
Something that pisses me off is that Chad was the first person we saw 2 Ghostfaces tag team, and he lived. If you want Chad to survive, fine, great. But whoever 2 Ghostfaces tag team should have died.
Agreed.
I would have loved to see that.
That's too much of an iconic segment to not have him die. I agree with that. I remember me and Steven from Craving Something Scary was talking about that, and he said that was like a big issue with him too. Like, if you're gonna have 2 killers show up like that, especially the visual on that was so cool.
Yep.
You got to pay it off with him dying.
Yep, I agree 100%.
That could have been one of the most memorable kills of the franchise.
Yep.
Now we kind of look at it, it's cool to look at, but it's like a wet fart because they let him live.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy. So yeah, those are the things I don't want to see. What I do want to see in Scream 7 is I want to see great storytelling. I want to see our characters, especially if this storyline with the Carpenter Loomis angle is going to end in this film. I want to see their story arcs get maxed out to their potential. I want to see previous killers return that we thought were dead that are not dead, preferably Charles and Stu. I would also like to see a former victim turn into Ghostface.
Yep.
I think that would be really cool. That would be not something we haven't had in the franchise. But I also would still like them to keep that element, at least to what makes Scream 3 so special to me, of that finding out something we thought was true that wasn't true. You know what I mean? And I know we will get that with the whole Stu reveal and Charlie reveal and all that, but I'm talking about from a storyline standpoint. You know, I'm talking about in terms of like maybe getting that reveal that Sydney is really Samantha's real mother. Stuff like that. Like I want basically all, and hence what I want to sum it up as I want them to tighten up some of these loose ends that they've created in Scream 5 and Scream 6, tighten these bad boys up, and let's get a great Scream 7. That's all I go for. I want a movie that we all can digest and be happy with.
For sure.
Man saying the wet fart noise was hilarious. Let's do it again. Like, dead serious. Like, you know, that would be a wet that was a wet fart. They, you know, don't get me wrong. Again, love Chad. I like the fact that he's kind of, I guess, like the new Dewey. But damn it, not even Dewey had to endure that. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that was like 25 stabs, also.
Yeah, not counting Scream 5.
Right.
So, Homeboy's been poked up almost 40 times, and he's still somehow living. Like it, never before seen, in my opinion. Like never before seen. You won't see it anywhere else but in a Scream movie. Okay, so I might have missed this. So, Jamie, what are you talking about when you are saying a two-parter for 7? Why do you think that Scott? Oh, she's asking Scott that. Oh, that's interesting. So, I'll ask you, Pam. What do you think about a possible two-parter for Scream 7?
So, I actually like that idea because I don't want Stu revealed until the final act, but I also at the same time want a full movie with him. Right. So I would like them to make Scream 7 2 parts so that he's revealed at the end and then he lives and we get a full movie with him, Scream 7 Part 2. I would actually like that. If they can make them come out not that far apart from each other.
I agree. I wouldn't mind it being a two-parter. I mean, we talked about Scream 6 possibly ending on a cliffhanger, you know, and this is something interesting to think about, Pam. We got to remember what we got in Scream 6 wasn't the original plan. Sydney.
What was the original plan? Oh, Sydney.
Well, see, the thing was, Sydney was supposed to be in the movie longer. And apparently the story, the whole family, the Baileys, weren't even supposed to be a part of the story. They were going to go in a completely different direction with killers.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And I think another thing that they said as well, this is what actually Melissa said. Her character in the film, Samantha, was completely different than what we got in the film. She personally said she stood up for herself and told them, no, she has to be this way. So if it wasn't for Melissa making that executive decision, we could have gotten a completely different version of Samantha that we might have not liked. Like we didn't like her much in Scream 5. And we don't know what exactly the real plan was for Scream 6 with Nev being in it.
Right. I'm so curious to know.
I know. That's always going to be a thing. I think a lot of us, you know, when we think about Scream 6, even if you like it, it's like, man, but what if Nev was in this film? How different would it have been?
Yeah.
What direction were they going to go in?
I wonder if they'll ever let us know down the road, like what would have been.
I hope so too. At some point it'll come out. They always do that.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a bunch of stuff coming out from past sequels and stuff like Scream 2. Like, I don't know if you watch Beyond the Mask, but he actually talked about this deleted scene between Stu and Gale in Scream 1996, where Stu actually follows after Tatum into the kitchen, which would have confirmed he's the one who killed her.
I did see that, yes.
Yeah. So there's definitely stuff out there. There's so many like unused fake scripts out there as well, that you can, pick apart from and all that stuff. Like, you just got to find them.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But it's interesting. Scream it's my second favorite franchise behind Halloween.
Nice.
But when it comes to content and actually talking about it, like here on the channel, I do enjoy talking about Scream more because there's so many other layers. You know what I mean? Not saying there's not multiple layers to Halloween. There is. But with Scream, you can just peel back layers and layers and layers and layers. With Halloween, you know who's doing the killing. Well, right. at least until you get to Halloween Ends. It's a conversation for another day. Fucking Corey Cunningham. Oh man, I like the character, but I didn't like the movie. But Scream reinvented this slasher. It brought back that feeling, that the 80s created. I know some of the real old school people, will say Psycho, but to me, where the slasher craze really took off was the late 70s, early 80s, and then Scream in 96 totally reinvigorated it, because at that point we were dead in the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they come through with this fun, hip, happening film. You know what I mean? That is, it keeps you guessing, but it also keeps you smiling and keeps you laughing and keeps you invested.
Yeah.
Scream 1996, when people say, oh, will there ever be a Scream movie that will surpass it? In my opinion, good luck.
Absolutely not.
Good luck. Top to bottom, when you look at that cast and just the way Wes did everything.
Yeah.
No topic.
Perfect movie.
Right. Like, I'm sorry. You're not going to find another Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher. You're not going to find another Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis. You're not going to find another Nev Campbell as Sidney Prescott. Every single one of these actors fit into the roles like a glove.
Yeah.
But then how could I not mention my guy, Jamie Kennedy? I'm a big Jamie Kennedy fan. Like, just overall. Come on, Randy? He should have never died.
I know, it kills me every time.
Should have never died like that. I'll never forget being a kid and watching it in the theater. And when that scene comes up, and I'm just like, they killed Randy.
It hurts so bad.
It hurts. Like, it really does. Like, they should have never killed Randy.
He should have at least made it to 3.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if you ever heard of this theory, but I know you're a big Randy fan. And we got 6.5 minutes left in the stream before we head out. I'll meet you backstage and all that stuff. And, when the part was there. But I want to ask you, how would you feel if Randy would have turned out to be a Ghostface killer? There's people out there that believe, that he could be or could have been.
Like, how do I feel if it was revealed in 2, you mean?
And either one of them. Like, what if there's people out there believe his death scene was staged?
Jamie Kennedy himself believes that, or he has that theory that it's possible that he could have faked his death. I probably would have liked it. I love Randy, same way I love Billy and Stu, and I love that they're killers. So if that had happened, I'm sure I would have loved it.
I think I would agree too. Yeah. I think Randy would have made a really interesting killer. And the reason why is because, for the most part, of course, there's a couple that he missed on, you know what I mean? We're always going to miss on certain things. But the fact that he knew the rules and he knew the tropes,
yeah,
I think he might, if you would have had Randy be a killer, he might have been in terms of organization the most pristine killer we would have had because of his knowledge. He would have known what to do, what not to do, how to, maneuver this way, how to maneuver that way. I think that would have been really interesting to see. And I will say this. I mean, Mindy, she's looking a little suspect.
I was about to ask you, how would you feel about Mindy?
I think there's a possibility she could be involved. I mean, for two reasons. Before Quinn reveals herself, Samantha thinks it's Mindy.
Right.
But you get stabbed in the stomach. You go to the hospital. The final scene, we see you running up. It's Bailey and Ethan. Bailey and Ethan are the killers. Well, how the hell did you know that?
Yes. How did she know that? How did she figure it out?
Right. How did you know that?
I don't know.
And my thing is this. If you so effortlessly ran up to the EMT bus, you could have been in the shrine the whole time. I mean, she didn't even seem like she was bothered. Oh, I didn't get stabbed in the stomach today. She acted, I'm going to put it this way. She reacted much worse to her arm slash than she did to her stomach gut. Like to her stomach stab wound. Like, it's crazy. I definitely do think that what we heard in that final scene with her, you can make a case that they might turn her into a killer. There's no explanation for if she's in the hospital. How does she know about Bailey and Ethan when we last seen her? She looked at Ethan and said, "Oh, I got it wrong again."
Right.
Fuck this franchise. Like
I don't know. Pretty suspicious.
It is really, really suspicious. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but 2025, we'll see. I want to ask you before we do head out, and everybody, we are about to head out here. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark and stuff like that. And I got to get ready to go soon, catch my flight to Texas. So, what I do want to ask you is, what was up with that whole Ghostface live stream the other night? I seen you post something on YouTube.
Yes.
And
I was about to ask you also if you saw it.
Oh, I only saw your post, and I'm like, well, what's this?
So,
and I've seen the whole Stab 3, but I haven't been able to really dig into it.
So the Ghostface account on TikTok, the official Scream account, posted saying, "Tune into my live stream at 7 p.m. Pacific time for 2 hours of ASMR, and something like you'll want to stick around to the end for some kind of announcement or something." The stream went for about 15 minutes before it got cut off. So they were doing ASMR things with a knife and like making scraping sounds against different items. Right. They were stabbing an apple. They had the ladder from the apartment scene. They were scraping the knife against the ladder. The actress who plays Annika tuned in.
Oh, Devin Dakota.
Yes, because you can have people join the live stream.
Oh, that's tough. I like that.
Yeah. And I think they were going to have other people join in also, but it got cut off because of the knife. Like on TikTok, they're very strict about violence and weapons and stuff. So they got banned from the live stream. And I think they got suspended for 3 days. And I think today is the day where they can do another live stream. I think that they were going to tease a Scream 7 announcement. But then
I think so too, from the way it sounds like.
Yeah. I can't believe it was going to go on for 2 hours, though. But it was definitely very entertaining. I'm curious to see who else they were going to have join the chat. And I don't know what they're going to do now that they can't show the knife anymore.
Right.
I think that they should just release a fun, quick video of Ghostface talking. But I don't know. We need an announcement right now.
See, that's so funny, though, because I've seen countless real violent videos on TikTok.
Yeah, well.
So it's like, I mean, I get it. You want to have standards and practices. But I feel like, especially if this is a well-known, like, horror character, but a gimmick.
Right. They should have, like, cleared it with TikTok first ahead of time. But maybe it was because there was like 17,000 people tuned in at one point. So maybe people reported it. I don't know, but it was a major bummer.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to keep an eye out for that. If you said
Yeah.
today is the day that they'll probably be allowed to come back
Yes.
on,
I will
that's
be
nutty. Let me
watching.
ask you something.
Mhm.
What would you have wanted the Scream 7 announcement to be if that was the case?
I don't know, just something clever from Ghostface. Like, did you see Ghostface talk at the MTV Video Awards?
Yes, I did.
Just something quick like that, like a clever little line and teasing Scream 7. I don't know.
How would you would have felt if Matthew would have showed up in the live stream?
Oh my god, I would have had a heart attack.
That would have been nuts. That would be crazy.
I would have thrown my phone.
That's funny. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go. I'm all for it. Okay, I'm gonna get to some of you guys' chats real quick before we head out, and then we are gonna head out. This was definitely a fun time, Pam. Pam, this
Yes.
2 hours went fast.
I know, we could keep going all day.
I know, right? Even though Matt Lucas said that, he said these 2 hours flew. That's when you know you're enjoying yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. This was definitely a fun stream, and there's definitely more to come. We have some more unpacking to do. We're
Yes.
just scratching the surface.
Seriously.
Okay, so Val, I'm definitely going to make sure I have some pictures for you guys. You know what I mean? As soon as I touch down in Texas, I ain't gonna lie, I'm excited. I'm so excited. Val saying, Marcus, safe travels to you. Hoping Destiny, you have a blast, and don't forget to tell Carpenter what I said if you get a chance for that photo. LOL, can't wait to see the pictures and the videos. Absolutely, Val. Absolutely. It's gonna be a scream, baby. Let's go. I'm so excited for this convention. It's just not even just for Carpenter, too. No, I'm actually excited to meet John Kasar, who did the voices as the Crypt Keeper for Tales of the Crypt. Have you ever seen that series?
Mm-mm.
Hey, we gotta get you schooled in here,
I
girl.
know.
Yeah.
I'm
We
like
got
a Scream expert, but everything else I need to, you know.
Hey, it's okay. Listen, we gotta crawl before we walk. You know what I mean? And stuff. Definitely, like honestly, you know what I mean? It's good to focus on one like template, one
Mhm.
topic or one thing, like one movie, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, because that's your niche. That's what you
Mhm.
are a pro at and stuff. But it is good to open your mind to other things. And
Definitely.
I have a feeling like the Tales from the Crypt stuff, I think you would like that. It's fun.
Send me a list of all the things I have to watch.
Okay, I will. I will definitely do that for sure. It might be a long list, so I'm just warning you.
That's fine.
Like,
I'll
there's a
get
lot of
around
good
to,
stuff. I have a lot of good stuff that I feel like flies under the radar. But I'm really excited to meet the Crypt Keeper because that shaped my childhood. You know what I mean? Like that was like on cable television, Tales from the
Mhm.
Crypt, and they would do these, you know, short stories, short stories, and then it turned into movies and stuff like that. They even had in the one movie they did, Demon Knight, they had Jada Pinkett in it. They had fuck, they had other people in it too, like Billy Zane, who played in Titanic and all that shit. Like they had they had a good couple A-listers, but I like it because I like the Crypt Keeper's voice. And this is exactly how he sounds. He's like, "Hello, kiddies. I'm just getting up tonight here." And stuff like that's how he talks. Like, and I love that because that's what I grew up watching and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I'm super excited to see John Kasar there at the convention.
Nice.
Yes. I do wish they had some Scream people there though too. That is
Yeah.
like the only disappointing thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's all right though. I'm gonna get Nev at some point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Nev at some point.
You gotta.
Jamie Hart saying, "Have fun at Texas Frightmare. I'm so excited for you, Marcus. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Cool that you're going to meet Des. Yes, absolutely. I cannot wait to meet Destin there. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be really fun." Y'all know I don't drink all like that, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna go out and have a drink tonight. I'm gonna hit the scene tonight. I'm not even gonna lie.
You deserve it.
I appreciate that. I mean, listen, I'm not even trying to toot my own horn here, but honestly, working 2 full-time jobs, because this is a full-time job, for content creating, and then having a regular, restaurant job and stuff, shit can be difficult. It's taxing.
You work so hard,
but it's going to be worth it in the end, So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
All right, everyone. It seems like I have caught up with all you guys' chats. I greatly appreciate you guys all stopping in to hang out with me and Pam here. This was definitely a fun time. I am definitely going to be looking forward to doing some more projects with Pam. And this was just such a fun time. I'm glad we finally got to link up, have a conversation, and definitely there's going to be more of these to come.
So much fun.
So I wanted to ask you, or whatever, how do you feel about doing like live watch parties and stuff like that?
I'd be open to it.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Because I know that you operate mostly during the day and stuff like that. So we can definitely figure some things out, you know what I mean, that fits around your schedule. Because see, me, I'm like 24 hours with this shit. I don't care. I'll go at 1 o'clock in the morning. I literally went on at 1 o'clock this morning.
I was like trying to go to sleep last night, and I saw that you were on. I was like, when did you go to sleep?
Oh, I merely dream. So you know what I mean? I'm up. It's crazy how I'll be honest, because they say father time is undefeated, and don't make no mistake, I feel it in my body sometimes. But I am surprised for a guy who's going to be 34 in a few short weeks that I have this much fucking stamina still. Like, I still want to get up. Like, I'll go to sleep for like 3-4 hours, and then I'll wake up and I'm just like, what am I missing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm missing something. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that I have this amount of energy. You need to have it, especially doing this.
Definitely.
All right, Pam. So I'm going to meet you backstage, and then I'm going to end the stream here. But everybody, I greatly appreciate you guys all stopping in. I'm definitely going to see you guys next time. And trust me, I will be putting out some content while I'm there in Texas. So you will be seeing some more of me this weekend. Don't get too upset with me. Don't get tired of me. Okay. You know what I mean? Just love me, guys. You know what I mean? So, all right, Pam. So I'm going to see you back here in a few minutes. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
You are now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times.